Check 1 2 1 2. All right. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Dano Crypto. On this channel, we show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystems. So, guys, this train, like I said, is a rollin'. It's not really stopping. We're having some pullbacks, but honestly, like, you have to still stay with this trend, my friends, because Bitcoin right now is, it took obviously a breather. We just pumped massively, and we broke a new all-time high, going up to $123,000 per Bitcoin. And we even said, look, we obviously are not going to just have a one green candle going up into Valhalla and just never stopping. We're going to see some pullbacks. And I said, if anything, Bitcoin will take a little bit of a breather, and then it's going to continue to the upside because it hit the levels of the Fibonacci that we've been calling, that Fibonacci level being, it was at 119,000 was the price target. And we said, look, if we break that 115, we're going to be going to the upside really fast, and it's going to be kind of violent. And this is what happened. We had that violent move to the upside, and we did point out something here, which was the bearish divergence. So if you could have traded off of this, we talked about it. Was it yesterday or the day before? Yeah, I guess it was on the 14th. Yeah, so we marked this on the 14th. We noticed that, we had a bearish divergence here. And this is what, you could say if you're looking at the RSI, easy to see this bearish divergence. This is on the 5-minute too. So the 5-minute, a lot of the times can reveal that bearish divergence as well. And on the opposite of this we were seeing the inverse, which is really, so the topic of discussion and what is taking over the timeline right now is pudgy penguins and Pengu. Whilst the market and everything was down, look at what is up. Pengu. And not just Pengu, but Say. We're going to get into Say. We're going to get into how the TVL locked, and the DeFi volume, and also the stable coins that are being minted on the Say blockchain might have us looking at a potential full breakout with Say, because honestly, on the weekly, the monthly, Say has been doing really well. It's kind of a good competitor chain against Sui and also Solana, and getting up in the ranks. So they're all S tokens: Solana, Say, Sui, Sonic. It's a lot of these S tokens that you have to figure out, and which one is you're gonna actually be bullish on. And honestly, if you have a good spread of all those coins, then you're kind of hedged pretty well. Like if you want to get exposure in the altcoin markets, all those that I just mentioned are coins that we have brought to your attention that are minting stables, having a lot of bridge TVL, and also DeFi TVL, and also 24-hour DEX volume that can basically signal that the chain's being used. And it's also that the institutions are they're looking at Ethereum. And then now the proxies of the institutions are starting to look at the layer ones, the layer twos, the states. Think about this, for instance, Wyoming. We mentioned Say. Wyoming is using the Say blockchain to mint stables. So this is pretty fascinating. So we want to pay attention to this. So let's look at Pengu. Pengu up 10%. So this is we've been talking about this, how there's going to be some brand, some coin, whatever it may be. It's going to be a basket of coins that are going to rally and the sentiment into memes, NFTs, DeFi, and also learning about these certain popular applications, whether it be Pump Fund or whatever Launchpad, application there is, or Perps, DEX trading. A lot of these are really popular right now. So this is what is like kind of the focus of people that are in crypto, and the money's been recycling all around. We've had the certain cycles of NFTs and bear markets and bull markets, and now we're coming back into a NFT bull market, like the pre-sniffings of like crazy like massively overvalued, NFTs where people are paying millions of dollars for an NFT, just like the CryptoPunks. So now you see Pudgy Penguins are at now a floor price of $43,000. So it's like at 11 ETH or 14 ETH floor. So it's becoming very at the point now to where it's unaccessible for retail to be like, yeah, I'm going to buy a Pudgy Penguin. They're not thinking about buying a Pudgy Penguin NFT, but they're thinking about possibly buying the branding and also realizing that, wait a second, there's a token, and Pengu ends up being one of the tokens that is the first one that retail sees. Because I was like, what is the token that retail is going to see first whenever they download whatever the most popular app's going to end up being? Because the top 3 apps that are going to be on the Google Play Store or the app stores where retail is going to then download that, and they're going to basically, eyes are just going to be on the first tokens that they see. And so which one and which basket of coins will that be? Well, I'm going to make a good guess that one of those tokens will be Pengu because of the type of branding and IP and the household name that Pudgy Penguins is trying to accomplish here. And they're doing a really good job with rating the timeline right now with Pudgies. So it's something like you just can't ignore. You can't ignore, and you can't be mad about it. You want it to be successful because then that is the signal for memes and tokens that are connected with an NFT project that it's just speculation will pump these things alone. And then, not to mention, when you bring this all together with the bullishness of ETH right now, ETH is the topic of discussion, and there's a lot of ETH ETF rallies happening. We've had weekly inflows hit $908 million. This is lifting ETH to that price point over 3K, and it's been the strongest week since the ETF launch. We noticed that as well. We noticed that the ETF for Ethereum finally started to move, and we have been saying this like a broken record. I said, look, when we start seeing over $100 million and up to close to over, $500 million of flows into the Ethereum ETF, just like we saw with the Bitcoin ETF. I followed this for a while with Mr. M for almost a whole year. We were tracking this ETF flow and seeing how the flows and the outflows represented the price action. And it matched pretty well whenever you started to see the inflows start to dry up and it started to get lower and lower. You started to see the price action kind of start to go flat, and then it would go sideways. And then whenever you started to see the actual outflows, like, something that looked like this but on a bigger scale, that's when you started to see the Bitcoin price not on a bit of a short-term downtrend. And so now you're starting to see this similar type of institutional movements and liquidity with the Ethereum ETF that now, look, I told you, once we start seeing these movements coming in, that's when we're going to see Ethereum start to finally move. And so this is what's great about these pullbacks too, is because then it shows the strength now. This is how Bitcoin started to change it to a different market structure, because then every single time there was a dip, there was a massive buy pressure to be able to service the ETFs, because they need the Bitcoin. They can't keep selling it and just keep selling it and selling it and selling it, because then it is a Bitcoin arms race right now of who is going to be able to have the biggest bags of Bitcoin. And so a lot of them are buying them up for the ETFs, and not to mention, then we have the treasuries and we have other countries that have their own accumulation strategy that they're doing. I mean, Bhutan has been doing it for way before anyone else, and they finally started to get in the news. I mean, I didn't even know about it until I started to actually see it in the news, and I was like, oh, like, yeah, there's countries that are way ahead of everyone, already using it for renewable energy and resource and using the heat generated by the miners to be able to do farming and recycled source technology. It's really amazing. The only reason we're not already doing it here in a mass scale is because we have a monopoly built around certain industries that stifled that type of stuff. We had terrible administrations for the past 8. We had Obama for 8 years. We had the Biden administration for then another 4 years. So I think 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. For 12 years, we had a Democratic-run administration that did not give a rip about that type of innovation at all. We really got sold out for those 12 years, and this is why we're in such a shamble of where we're at right now. And that's just facts. I mean, you can't even deny that at this point. It doesn't matter what party you are, or who you voted for. That's just facts. We got sold out. And that's why the dollar looks like it does. That's why gold went up so high. That's why interest rates ended up going where they did. And also just we got bamboozled. So now we have to pick up the pace, and we have to pick up the pieces and figure out, how do we get out of the mess? Well, you have to start learning how to invest. You have to start learning how to make your money appreciate and make it start working for you, because at the end of the day, you can't just work a job. You have to figure out a way to make that money that you're working for work for you. So if it's by learning how to invest, and also at the same time, I think it's even really important now that I've started to learn how to trade, and not to say I'm like an expert trader, but I think I've been learning some very valuable skills that I think over time, when they're sharpened, will be the difference of thousands and thousands of dollars that I can use to my advantage by learning these charts, learning these market cycles, and knowing about altcoins, knowing that there's a time to be in altcoins, a time to be in Bitcoin, a time to be in stables, and all these things that we talk about on a day-to-day basis is, I think, one of the most valuable skills we can learn right now, because people are losing their jobs. People are having a really hard time right now. My wife is my source of info for this, because she is in that world. She, works she's worked the corporate job. She's been in, in the groups where she goes in the forums and she'll read what people are experiencing. And it's crazy. People that have master's degrees, went to school for 8 years, have their whatever, and they're spend $100,000 on going to school, and these people cannot find a job. They can't find a job. They won't get hired. And then there's also goes even further than that, where those same people are then trying to go to Target, and they won't even hire them at Target. So it's I can imagine if you're that person and you're thinking, what do I do? Literally, what do I do? Well, I think at this point you got to start looking at what the low-hanging fruit here is that you got to learn how to invest. You got to learn how to trade. You got to learn what the rich are doing, and they're compounding and they're investing, and they barely hold any of their fiat in cash. They barely hold any cash. It's all in investments. You think because someone has a bunch of money in their bank account? No, it's they it's the opposite. They actually they have most of their money out of cash, and they're appreciating, and then they're using the debt for their benefit. They're not if they can get better interest rates, or they're in a lot, especially when you're able to do a lot of tax sheltered stuff, and then also earning the yield. We'll talk about the ETF staking. That's coming pretty soon. I think Bitcoin ETF, I think they're going to be doing this. They're going to be earning yield on this too. I think it's you're good. This is what's going to happen. We're going to have these institutions just salivating over the prospect of earning juicy yield with these ETFs, whether it be Dogecoin, and it's talking about Pengu, there's a Pengu Canary ETF filing that's the NFT and the token. So you can then just, if you want exposure into Pengu with the NFTs, because imagine the Pengu NFT, the Pudgy Penguin, goes to hundreds of thousands of dollars per ETH for floor, and then you can get exposure into the ETF. This is how big money is thinking, where they're like, no, I'll just buy the ETF, or and then even go further down the line, and it's like kind of big retail, like not like poor retail. Hate to say it, but then even still, it's more so just like different levels of income and wealth can get exposure into a bigger ecosystem of things that are happening. So this is where like grandma is going to be able to, invest into Bitcoin and crypto and all that stuff, because it's just going to be through a different type of modality. But obviously, we've been teaching on this live stream and through our education to just hold this stuff on chain yourself. Like if you know what ecosystem is being, your coins, you got your coins. Well, these most likely you can hold self-custody on a wallet and you can have control of it. Just remember, always have your crypto in your own wallets, and don't ever expect to own them completely if you have it sitting on exchanges. So that is just rule number one. For anyone that's getting into crypto, you can use exchanges all day. We love exchanges. We are very grateful for all the exchanges that we have worked with, and they're super awesome, been very helpful. It's been a way to learn how to trade. But at the end of the day, we make a joke and we say the best service that exchanges offer is the ability to withdraw your crypto. That is the best service that any exchange can offer, is that, well, when I make all this money and I trade, can I get it off? Yes. Okay, cool. So then that's you have to practice this. So for all the new people, you're getting into crypto and you're downloading whatever these wallets or these exchanges or these apps, make sure that you have a wallet installed, whether it be MetaMask, Phantom, the Base wallet, the Coinbase wallet, whatever wallet. Trust Wallet. We love Trust Wallet. That was one of the first ones we started using, even before MetaMask. You have those downloaded and practice taking your, sending it into an exchange and then sending it off an exchange into those wallets. Make sure you're okay, you're getting familiar with the networks and what it even means that you're transferring it on a different layer. So this is all the stuff that I think we need to be reminding, and it's super basic, but we got to remember, retail's coming in. They are coming in. I believe this to an almost naive point that I know retail's coming back. They're coming back, and they need to learn this stuff. At least I think they do, But we didn't give any shout outs yet. I didn't even see how many people are tuning in. Do I sound okay? Does everything look okay? Does everything sound good? I'm not lagging or anything? Because I know a couple times we were having some issues. My internet was being terrible. But shout out to everyone that's came in. We got 8 likes. Let's go. But I feel like people dropping on YouTube. Let's see. Shout out to Shibban. We got AI Griff in the house. We got Hyro. We got Real Mike. Oh my gosh, I feel like I've been here. So should have kept my airdrop. Maybe I get back in before it's too late. I'm stuck on dog. Got to Moon and Magic internet money. Nice. Are you talking about the Pengu drop? The Pengu airdrop? Yeah, I know. I should have kept mine too. I feel kind of dumb for selling that too early. There are some airdrops that are worth actually keeping, if you can just hold on to them for long enough, but it's very much a good practice of patience, for sure. Mr. Kaisley, shout out to everyone. Shout out to Shibman. Shout out to everyone that is watching on X. Shout out to Crapto. Crapto. Anyone else on X want to get a shout out? Just let me know that you're watching. Let's see how many people are watching. We got 10 people on X. Yeah, make sure you guys repost this. Whatever platform you're watching on really helps just to get the word out. And guys, and I wanted to. I think it's still a good milestone because I've been grinding on this channel and doing these live streams and just trying to bring you guys content and just be at least mildly entertaining for you. 3,700 subscribers. Let's go. So I want to thank you guys. I want to show my appreciation to the chat, to the fam, to the dojo crew, the people that have been just supporting and also just showing up with me, because this is kind of like it's a collective effort. Us, showing the world that like we are in here for a reason, and that we're showing up every day. We're trying to change our lives. We're trying to learn about money. We're trying to, be in this ecosystem because it just seems like it's just the place to be. It seems like it's just the place to be. I felt it whenever I started to dive into crypto in 2021. I was like, something just feels right about this, me paying attention to this. It just felt, something sparked in me, and I was like, let's keep exploring this, because I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know where it's going to lead me, but God, I really believe this, is God was telling me, like, this is what you need to be doing. This is how you're going to be able to take all your skills and put them into a fusion of this thing called cryptocurrency and blockchain, and you're going to be able to do whatever you want. You're going to be able to do whatever you ever dreamed of doing by paying attention to this. I don't know why, but that's what I heard inside, like, my soul. So this is why every time I've had those feelings where I'm like feeling like I'm going to quit, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way I can quit. Why would I quit now? It would make no sense. It makes no sense. So I always come back. I come back to the stream. And I think it really is going to pay off. I really think so. Woo! It's getting emotional. I know. Shipman. Yeah, there's a lot of news. We're still going to cover the news, but I really wanted to kind of get into the fundamentals. I think when you get back to the basics, the fundamentals of why you're even in crypto to begin with, and like, I feel like I got into crypto because I do want to change my financial future, and also I was like, man, this is like, I feel like this is one of those industries where it's like you need more people to be able to represent the space, teach people about the space, and not give and just like have people stay. Like, it's, crypto is one of those things where I've noticed, like, it's one of those, like, people could get turned off by really quickly and like never come back. And we've seen that with the social metric risk of like people's interest in crypto to begin with. Like, I mean, bad taste in everyone's mouth with all the FTX stuff, and like we've explained, the whole like media look and outlook on crypto probably gave the retail mindset just like, I'm not touching that with the 10-foot pole. Like, I'm not going back to that again. And so I come in and I'm like, that's a problem. That, and when you have an entrepreneur's mindset and you're actually like really want to like do something, you're trying to find a problem that needs to be fixed. You're trying to find a problem that, and you have the solution. Find the problem and then have my solution. Have a freaking YouTube channel that is going to give education and entertainment to people that are going to come into the space and be like, well, where do I go? Guess where everyone went last time? They went to YouTube. And they're going to come back. It's still the top platform regardless. Like I mean, like there are obviously pros and cons to every platform, but just to be honest, if you can hit the mark on YouTube, they pay the most and you can get access to a lot more people. You just have to break the freaking wall. And that's my mission and my goal is to really actually break that wall. All right, someone's saying nice soul entry. Oh, well, yeah. So this was a voucher. I did the slot machine. You know, you can on OURBIT, guys. Shout out to OURBIT. You guys should check out OURBIT if you're not using it. They have this slot machine that you can do. Where is it at? I can just show you. Yeah, it's the fortune wheel. You can do the fortune. Oh, I have a draw. I can just show you right now. So yeah, so whenever you trade, you can get basically chances to draw by the amount of futures volume that you're doing, and you just hit go. Oh, I thought I had one draw. I don't. Oh, I thought I did. Okay, well, never mind. But yeah, you just hit go, and then you get to. They have different rewards now. Oh, cool. So you can get. Oh, they're offering some Tesla stock and some Nvidia stock. Oh, they got some X stocks on here. They got some tokenized stocks on here now. They just updated it. It was 1 Bitcoin you could have won, or 0.1 Bitcoin, which is a lot. That's like 0.1 Bitcoin is $10,000. So, but yeah, now you can win 10 Nvidia tokenized stocks on here. So make sure you guys are signing up with my link so you can win these little extra bonus rewards. But yeah, I got a $100 voucher on doing that little slot machine thing. So I was like, and you can use it to go 1x long, and so I used it to get into a sold position, and it'll just be open for like I think a whole week or something. It's just like it's a timed voucher. All right, Eric Espino is saying, what do you think about Bonk at the moment? Is it time to sell or keep holding? I will answer that question real quick. I think I need to look at my Pepe trade right now because I got into a Pepe trade because I saw the consolidation on ETH and Bitcoin, but it looked like a double bottom. So whenever I saw that double bottom, I was like, yeah, I'm probably going to go long. And so I went long with a little bit of the profits that I made from Pengu. Pengu was just crushing it. I was like, I'm just going long Pengu. The takeover was real, and I FOMO traded into Pengu, but for good reason. It was a bullish divergence happening on Pengu, so there was confirmation on that. And I think I might have told you guys on X too. I was like, I think I'm just gonna long Pengu and not fade it. But to answer your question real quick. I just got to analyze this if I really need to like take some profits on this because that was a nice little. This is Pepe, by the way. This is Pepe. It's a nice little V-shaped recovery there. Nice little boom, boom, double bottom. And why I think it's breaking out because if you look at this chart, and I'm going to answer your question about Bonk. I'll go to the Bonk chart. So look, the bull flag breakout here. This same pattern was happening on Pengu as well, and I'll show you. It's really cool when you start to see these bull flags. Look at this structure here. People say patterns don't work, and I tell you, you don't look at the charts enough. I look at the charts every day. I'm looking at a chart, and the more you start to look at them, you'll start to see bullish patterns and pennants, and you'll start to see bearish patterns and pennants. And a lot of the times, they do what they say they do. So a bull pennant right here it's forming. It has a breakout, which is the pull. Then you have a top resistance point, which is the top of the flag. The flag forms because it forms a downtrend, and every time it goes and consolidates down from the bottom, it makes a lower high and creates a flag. It kind of looks like a flag. You can, I like to look at it like this, and then what you do is you take the measure of the pull like this, and you line it up with the breakout, and that is your measurement of where the move can go. And look at how close it was to that breakout. Look at how close. Look at that. So it's not 100% guarantee, but it's like 80 to 90% that those patterns will do this. This is with Pengu, okay? So then you look at Pepe. It's doing the same thing. It did the same thing. Okay? Now this is with the bull pennants. And then when you look at, for instance, where we showed you there was a bit of a bearish divergence on Bitcoin, and I think it was on the 5-minute where that was happening. We go to the Coinbase chart. Oh, and yeah, and this is where I really want to show you guys, like, the Fibonacci extensions are crazy. Like, if you can pull a fib and figure out, like, I pulled this fib from the top of 112 down to 98, and it gave us the exact freaking price run. That's another thing that I'm starting to really pay attention to, is like, I'm just pulling the damn fib from the high to the low, and it's most likely going to be banging all around into those levels, and it's like you feel like a magician, or like you just pulled a magic trick or something of finding these Fibonacci levels and how they just like hit. It's crazy. And then once you figure out the support and resistance across the market structure, and this is on any coin, you can basically like time your entries almost perfectly to the dollar to be able to, with just $50, go into a sniped position like we've talked about by setting those limit orders in those support zones where it's clear that liquidity is like was sitting and will hit. Then you can be like a sniper on this market, and you don't need that much money. Like, people think you need like $1,000 in margin in a position. Absolutely not. If you want to make just consistent compounding gains, you can do it with $50. Because these markets move fast, and whenever these bounces happen, it's like 5-10% in hours. It just goes boom, and you're printing, and you just can print. It's exactly how these trades ended up doing what they were doing, because I saw you see the support resistance, you see the trend. The trend's your friend, and you unfollow all bear influencers that are not able to see that, because they'll wreck you. Because I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I'm doing, and I'm giving you the bear case scenario as well, but I'm also telling you to use your instincts. These other bear people are not even telling you to trust your instincts. They're just like, listen to me, I know. They're like, I know. It's done. And it's like, I can't wait to see your donation address on Twitter. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel that. All right, so now let's go to Bonk. I'm going to answer your question. How's Bonk doing? Should you sell it? Should you keep it? Should you still pay attention to it? Well, apparently, if I'm not mistaken, well, the weekly chart actually looks pretty. The weekly chart on Bonk actually looks really good, because you got a really nice, almost looks like Wyckoff accumulation on the weekly. You got the run up, you get the consolidation down, you get the test. This one is interesting because a lot of the Wyckoff accumulation that's been happening on Bitcoin, you'll have a bottom of support, It runs up and does this W, but then when it goes back down, it actually goes lower. And then it really freaks people out. And it's like a full fake out. And then it bounces really hard like it does this. This is what I've noticed with Bitcoin Wyckoff. It's like, it'll go even lower and you're like, everyone's like, it's over. And then it goes boom. And then it pumps up and then it goes sideways a little bit. And then it hits that previous all-time high resistance. So this is going to be your best case scenario for Bonk right now. I think we have to let the pump token do its thing. I think the pump token, if it can be successful at not like dumping or crashing or doing anything crazy, like it can just have a pretty like decent sustained chart, then that will give good sentiment, I think, overall for just like the meme market, because if we're going to be honest, the pump.fun, revolution, regardless if you like it or not, it did bring attention and a lot of like action and use case of an application. It was probably the most used app for a good couple months there. And so if we can't get a successful, launch or just like afterwards of this token and the distribution between where it's going to go, like the streamers and the coin creators and the airdrops, that's what we just have to see. But what does that have to do with Bonk? Well, Bonk has its own launch token of the Bonk.fund, and that's that whole, competition that Bonk was actually seeing more revenue and trading volume than Pump, and Pump was just about to do a token. So you're like, why are they going to time, they're timing it pretty interesting with the competition between Bonk and Pump. But got to remember, Bonk was the OG original airdrop token that was distributed on the Solana phone part with the what's the phone called? The Saga? Is that what it's called? Who knows the name of the Solana phone? I've totally forgot. But it was I think it was the second generation phone had a wallet that was airdropped with Bonk on it, and it ended up being valued at like 10x the phone if you were to hold the Bonk airdrop towards, I think it was like right here in last year, during March at some point. It was like the phone had Bonk on it around this time, and then Bonk went up like 400% or something. Yeah, it's called the Saga. But yeah, I mean, I think if you can see it here on the weekly chart, it looks like it's it's doing this Wyckoff thing like I explained. So just expect it to kind of bonk around a little bit, pun intended. It's going to look like this. Just look at this on the inverse. So all this is just this on the inverse. That's all that is. Just like that pattern is just going to be like, it's just there on the inverse. Just flip it, mirror this. And that's, I think, what we'll see best case scenario. But if that's the case, then there could be potential to where you can get into some really solid entries on this. And that's 114% move back up to all-time highs. So what will springboard this thing is that if it does follow this Wyckoff accumulation, then that's what bulls are expecting. And that's why they ran it down here, and they're going to continue to run it back up. So I would think that's a pretty high chance that it's going to do that over the next couple months. So I would watch for Bonk. And look, I mean, it is one of the highest performing tokens right now. And whilst Bitcoin is going down, this is where you need to look at the tokens. This is where you can say, okay, it's time to analyze my altcoins and which ones are doing like crap while Bitcoin is taking a breather, and which ones are pumping while Bitcoin was going down. Well, we have revealed this, and all you have to do is go to your trading view or go to your market cap, whatever you're to have a watch list, and go into your watch list and now see what didn't get hit. And then you can see, oh, okay, cool. What is going to be the altcoins that trade well when Bitcoin dominance starts to go down and like Bitcoin is going to take a little breather? Pengu. Pengu is one of those that revealed itself as that coin. It was up 10% on Bitcoin going down. It's been up for the past 3 days consistently in the uptrend. I need to check my trade. as I'm talking, I'm like thinking, okay, do I take profits? I got to take profit on the top of the bull pennant because I'm like, look, this thing can do it. Or at least we'd go right back to, do a take profit right there and see how much that'll rake us in. Not too bad. Not too bad for low liquidity trade. Pengu's still looking so good though. Okay, what was I talking about? Okay, yeah. So yeah, Pengu, say up 12%. We're gonna look at yes. Look at this. Say is looking really good right now. Say is trading really, really strong. If you look at the RSI too, like look, it ain't even close to being like done like with that strength. I mean, you can see the strength right here compared to like these points where it bottomed out. You can see like where it bottomed out here and pulled one of those moves like that to the upside. You can see it chopped around, but I mean, look, if you were to just follow the trend, you'd see that was from the RSI and the volume coming in. That say can really trade well. It's a strong altcoin right now, and so from it, and also it's going above the EMA ribbon. When it moves above the EMA ribbon, that's like a really nice bullish sign as well. I'm in another bullish week, 2 weeks. We can get 2 bullish green weeks, 50% each week. And so, 92% up to that portion there. And man, this is so crazy. I feel like on the weekly charts, we're seeing Wyckoff like everywhere. Like look at this. That's the rundown. And then this is just the bigger run up to hit that point. And then it'll trade a little sideways and then they'll run it back up to that all-time high. You can really start to see that structure of these coins over time. It's literally on all these like coins that are about 2 years old, 3 years old, or however this is about 2 years old. Bonk. Say is fairly new. It's just these are performing really well against all my altcoins that I have in my trading view right now. Ones that are like kind of, we got ETH BTC ratio. Look, that's pumping. We've been telling you about that. That's the reason why we're getting like altcoins, like little teaser altcoin season again. Orca, we're watching Orca to trade back up into the trend. We're seeing kind of an overall trend here. We're just kind of blasting through the charts here, trying to give you guys some TA on the go. Arbitrum. We're looking at Arbitrum in terms of the stablecoin, play. Aave, we're looking at a bullish cup and handle pattern on the weekly. Breakout target 820. Me token. Let's see. Me token was like at its low point. I mean, this thing is at like the floor. So if you like medieval empires and you're bullish on crypto gaming, I think it's a pretty solid buy because whenever we get back in the gaming bull run, we got targets back up there into the 0.005 and also back up into, where the all-time high was about 3 cents. And if that happens, that is a mega return. That's like getting into the 800%, 900% moves right there. Everything else like Pepe is looking pretty good. It's trading, it is one of those coins that usually trades pretty well against Bitcoin and also just trades with Ethereum. But yeah, I guess right now Pepe is looking pretty strong according to the trade. But yeah, guys, what trades are you in right now? Any trades at all? We've just kept our trades open. We've had our liquidity provider has been our ETH and Bitcoin trades. As you can see, we've taken $228 in profits on the ETH trade, and we've taken 91 on the Bitcoin trade, and we've used some of that liquidity to spot buy and build up the bag, and also we've taken out some and just put it in the account, just cash, and then we've also used some to go back into the liquidity into some of these trades, like the Pengu trade and the Pepe trade. Not all of them survived, as you can see. Position history, we got stopped out a few times. We've hit a couple stop losses. One of them got liquidated with a small margin, but overall we're looking pretty good in terms of the equity trend and the P&L. But yeah, what are you trading, guys? What are you trading? What are you trading? I want to know. And if you hadn't hit the like button yet, please do so. We're already at past 10 likes.